And then John in Patmos, had to end up, explaining, going through, explaining the vision of what happened. When he saw the angel. The angel have a little book in his hand, and he said he went to him and took the book, and he eat it. He eat it. He chewed it. He eat that book. I mean, before you eat something, you think about it. He eat the book. He put the book in the mouth. He eat it. The book enters in. Okay, and I look at it and I say, what can I explain? How can I explain this? You eating a book. It's not a food. It's a book. He eats a book. He didn't say he eat an apple. He ate a book. A book has always got contents in it. That kind of book. He should have opened the book and read. Sometimes when the Bible talks about book, it's being open. Your name is being written in a book. It tells you that all your names, all those who are names, have been written in a book. In the names of going to will be part of the paradise and all that. It's the significance of document, something that keeps records of things, or have information in there. He asks him to eat it. Now when he eats it, he says it will be sweet in his mouth, and then he becomes bitter in your belly. And things that enters your belly is hard to get out. I mean, you might vomit. You can try that. You can go to toilet and it comes out. Some of it comes out of food, but somehow the good things will always go into the body. If it enters your body, some will definitely go. Some will go somewhere. The body will take some, and some will, you can't get it all out like that. You can try a thing like poison. If you enter poison enter your mouth and get into your stomach, how quickly it will get into your body and do the damage that it has to do. You'll be able. Your vomiting will not even save you from poison. A thing like poison. So comparatively, we can put it in that scenario, eating things into your stomach, into your mouth, and then it enter your stomach. It makes bitter. It became bitter. It became horrible, something unpleasant in the belly. So unpleasant, then what is he trying to say? That it is something which was good news, palatable, very presentable something. And definitely, that is what makes you get convinced. The name Christ is mentioned, or Jesus is being attached to, is being translated as a true person, and he was somebody who came and is seen as he was only doing good things. He was doing good things. Cripples were healed. Dead people were risen from the dead. He did good things. He gives people food to eat. He pay his taxes. He gives money. He was charitable man. He doesn't look like a rich man, but he had it in abundance to give. As long as you ask him, he'll give you. How he's going to give, nobody knows. He gets it miraculously from his God. That was his signs and proof that he had authority. And everything that was on there, he has everything, that he doesn't need anything from any man or anything from anybody. And he had everything, and he was ready to give. He has the power to turn water to wine. So according to the story, he had it here and he was good. So such a good person. And the story presents that to you. It's a sweet story and a very promising story. The promise is beyond, a man's dream. Our hope of heaven is like that. Living in a place where goodness is in abundance. You don't lack anything. Everything is there for you. So it's a good story. Honey, actually, it tastes like honey. It tastes good. That is how I'm explaining it to you. And then it says when it gets into your belly, after you have accepted the message, you have taken in the message, after you have accepted it, because words are information. It sinks into our body like food sinks into your mouth and goes through your throat, esophagus, through the trachea, enter into the lungs and all that. That's how information is. If somebody is speaking to you, words, if it is spirit or whatever, it goes into your body, it goes into your brain. These are things that build your character and all that. So the body does not just eat food. It tells you in the same book, is a man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Words that come is something that we feed on. Human beings, we feed on words, we feed on food. So the feeding of where this information was eaten, we take information in, accept that information. And what happens is that information enters inside. And if it is poison, if it is deadly, if it is deceptive, if it is evil thing, it will give you an unpleasant feeling. feeling terrible thing in the belly. He said he didn't feel right. If it is spirit that has come upon you, it's an evil thing, you definitely won't feel right. If it is poison, it's a bad information, you will definitely won't feel right. You know, it will end you up in terrible situations. And that is what I'm saying, that these are the core things that if we're able to find out what books we are depending on, what information you rely on, what you are taking in, then we can determine at the end of the day, you know, what our reactions will be. You know, because the evil way that we are acting, whatever evil actions we take, whatever actions that comes out of us, the evil thoughts that comes out of us. Recently in a newspaper, a woman, an elderly British woman, hair was cut off. Completely cut off, mutated, it was cut off by somebody who was religiously insane. He's been tortured religiously, and he believes that what he was doing was okay. He took the life of an old woman. Why was the old man walking around there at that time? And he was acting like a prophet, you know, prophet of God. And he's there to do that, and he has to take the woman's head off. Can that be normal? But he's reading books, information, whatever evil has entered him, whatever information has entered him, has made him acted. This character is in us. Because whatever you take in is what makes you behave whatever you behave. And he says in the same book that it is what comes out of us that will defile us, that is evil, that is defiling, and not what goes inside you. Because always what is coming in definitely is good. You will take it nicely and all that. But if you examine it, think it through. That is why you have to have a brains. Make things which are logic consume you, only logical things. Take in the right stuff, you know, and have the time to think before you can know, because you can't take in right stuff if you are not thinking. If you have no understanding to something, you can't take it in. Even if I'm saying it, I'm trying to let you understand for that reason. But if I'm saying it and you're not understanding it, you don't have to take it in. Yeah, I have to be honest with you. Because I took in everything I had to take in. I read from the book and I understand it before I take it in. It will take time for me to explain, and it takes time, and time is all that matters. Because the living God has not come to prove himself. Jehovah God has not come to prove himself. Allah has not come to prove himself. Buddha has not come to prove himself. All this have not been proved. It's all based on words and information that we have in the books that we read. So it's up to you to understand it. It's up to you to read with understanding. You don't wait there for somebody to feed you with the information. Standing in the pulpit or stand somewhere and reading it, and he is feeding you information. He is explaining it to you because he has studied it. Like I am feeding you information. I'm giving you the key to yourself. Tell you that. Try and look at it yourself and think it through. Even what I'm saying, think it through. I am only giving you some awareness to remember, some questions to ask yourself when you're reading through the text, or you've heard a text given to you by somebody, and or somebody has given you a book. You are reading through that. I just ask you that the questions I ask myself, I want you to ask those questions too. Ask yourself, and sometimes you can even have other questions that I haven't even thought of. And ask you those questions. You have to question everything. Because you are defending your faith, and you have to have your own. You have to have a faith. The faith is something relating to believing in something. If you haven't questioned and examined it and have a clear understanding, how do you then believe in it? Before you even have faith. You relate to a friend, and you know who the friend is. Then you say, I have faith in this guy. In the same manner, you want to know God. You know who God is. You relate to God. Then you have faith in God. That's how it is. That's how it works in all ways. But there are so many people who are like empty shells. They just go in there. They listen to a verse, a quotation. They are happy with the quotation or that, with no understanding to it. They just don't relate it to any of the entire book. They don't even have time to read these things and find out themselves whatever it is. They don't ask them questions that they have to ask themselves. They jump to the ground. They probably go home or leave that premises or whatever they are, and they enter somewhere else and they move on with their life. And they say, I got this quotation. Whether that quotation is irrelevant to his life or relevant to his life, he hasn't even looked into it. Whether that quotation is a misquoted word, whether it is true or it is not true, they don't even look at it and see how relevant it is. Boom, it sounded good to me, so yeah. And before he fall into a very terrible situation in life,